The year was 2157 and humanity had spread its wings beyond Earth, establishing bases on the moon and several outposts across the solar system. New Shanghai buzzed with activity, its skyline pierced by impossibly tall towers bathed in neon lights of every color. Automated drones zipped through designated flight corridors, carrying everything from dinner deliveries to emergency medical supplies. In low Earth orbit, the Orion 1 hovered silently against the backdrop of stars. The military vessel represented humanity's most advanced defensive capabilities. Though it had never fired a shot in actual combat, its sleek, aerodynamic design belied the immense firepower housed within its titanium graphene composite hull. Dr. Maya Mo Navarro stood at the observation deck, watching Earth rotate slowly beneath them. At 32, she had already established herself as one of the world's leading experts in psychological warfare. Her specialty was protecting the human mind against external manipulation, a field that had become increasingly important as humanity ventured further into space. A beautiful view, isn't it? Captain Rex Tex Ambrose appeared beside her, his weathered face illuminated by Earth's reflected light. Makes you wonder what's out there waiting for us. Mo smiled. Something tells me we won't have to wonder much longer. Rex was a former mercenary who had found his calling in space. His leadership style balanced military precision with a wry sense of humor that kept the crew's spirits high during long deployments. He had become the emotional anchor of the Orion 1, though he would never admit it. Lieutenant Park just finished recalibrating the biochem defense systems, Rex said, leaning against the railing. Says they're operating at 105% efficiency now. Lieutenant Jin Park was the ship's weapons specialist, focusing on biological and chemical defense mechanisms. Quiet and methodical, Park rarely spoke unless it was absolutely necessary, preferring to let their work speak for itself. Some crew members found this unsettling, but Mo appreciated their focus and dedication. And Ozzy? Mo asked. He's currently reprogramming the drone network while eating some kind of spicy chip that's turning his fingers orange. Rex chuckled. Kid's a genius with tech, even if he is constantly snacking. Oscar Ozzy Ruiz was the youngest member of the senior crew, a prodigy in drone network engineering who had been recruited straight out of MIT at 19. Now 23. He approached every situation with boundless enthusiasm and an ever-present bag of snacks. His ability to find humor in any situation had saved morale during more than one crisis. A gentle chime sounded throughout the ship, indicating an incoming transmission. Rex straightened up immediately. All senior officers to the bridge, the ship's AI announced. Priority communication from Earth United headquarters. Minutes later, Mo, Rex, Jin and Ozzy gathered on the bridge, watching as the main view screen flickered to life. The image showed the Grand Assembly Hall of Earth United, where representatives from every nation had gathered for what appeared to be an emergency session. Secretary General Helena Rodriguez stood at the podium, her expression grave. As you know, we have detected an unidentified vessel approaching our solar system at speeds that defy our current understanding of physics. We have attempted communication on all frequencies, but the screen suddenly distorted, the image breaking into fragments before reforming into something entirely different. Where the Secretary General had stood moments before, a tall, slender figure now dominated the view screen. Ambassador Korath of the Zorak stood nearly 8 feet tall, with glistening blue-gray skin that undulated subtly, revealing its cephalopod ancestry. Multiple appendages moved with precise, controlled gestures as its large, almond-shaped eyes surveyed the assembly. When it spoke, its voice resonated with a harmonious quality that seemed designed to penetrate the human psyche. "Ye people of Earth," Korath began. We have observed your species for many of your years. We have cataloged your strengths, your weaknesses, your potential, and your limitations. We have determined that your continued independent existence represents an unacceptable variable in the cosmic equation. A murmur spread through the assembly hall. You have 24 of your Earth hours to surrender control of your planet and all off-world installations to the Zorak Collective. Resistance is... Korath paused, its appendages rippling in what might have been amusement. Not advised. We possess technologies that can restructure your very molecules. We can unmake you with a thought. The assembly hall fell silent, the weight of the threat settling over everyone present. Even aboard the Orion 1, the crew stood motionless, processing the ultimatum. Then, from the back of the Earth United Assembly Hall, Dr. Maya Navarro, who had been planetside for a conference, stood up. She casually flicked a sunflower seed into her mouth and cracked it between her teeth. The sound echoed through the silent hall. "How about we offer you some snacks first?" she said with a smirk. "And then we'll talk about this surrender business." The feed cut off, leaving the crew of the Orion 1 staring at a blank screen. "Well," Rex said finally, breaking the stunned silence on the bridge. "That's Mo for you, offering snacks to the aliens who just threatened to unmake us." Ozzy grinned, reaching into his pocket for a bag of cheese puffs. "I like her style." Within hours, Mo was shuttled back to the Orion 1, which had been designated as the command center for humanity's response to the Zorak threat. As she stepped onto the bridge, Rex greeted her with a raised eyebrow. "Snacks? Really? That was your diplomatic response to an alien ultimatum?" Mo shrugged. "It was either that or panic. I chose the option that didn't give them the satisfaction. And now you're here because... because I'm the best chance we have at understanding how they think." She replied, "The Zorak are clearly using psychological warfare as their first approach. That's my specialty." Rex nodded slowly. "Fair enough. So what's our plan, Dr. Navarro?" Before Mo could respond, alarms blared throughout the ship. Lieutenant Park's voice came over the comm system. "Captain, we're detecting unusual energy patterns emanating from the Zorak vessel. It appears to be some kind of broadcast." "On screen," Rex ordered. The main view screen displayed a visual representation of the energy patterns, pulsating waves of color that seemed to shift and change in complex patterns. "What are we looking at?" Rex asked. Mo stepped closer to the screen, her eyes narrowing. "They're broadcasting on frequencies that interact directly with human brainwaves. This is a psychological attack." "Effects?" Rex demanded. "Reports coming in from Earth," Park replied. "Mass anxiety, confusion, some cases of temporary paralysis. It's affecting different people in different ways." Mo turned to Rex. "They're testing our psychological defenses, seeing how susceptible we are to mental manipulation. Can we block it?" "Not entirely," Mo said. "But we can develop countermeasures. I need to work with Ozzy on this. The drone network might be able to broadcast counter-frequencies." Rex nodded. "Do it. In the meantime, I'll coordinate with Earth United on evacuation protocols for the most affected areas." As the hours passed, reports from Earth grew increasingly concerning. The Zorak's psychological broadcast was causing widespread panic in major population centers. Emergency services were overwhelmed, and Earth United was struggling to maintain order. In the Orion 1's laboratory, Mo and Ozzy worked frantically to develop a counter to the Zorak's psychological attack. Jin Park joined them, bringing data on the biological effects of the broadcast. "The Zorak are targeting specific emotional centers in the human brain," Park explained, displaying brain scans on a holographic projection. "They're specifically triggering fear responses and suppressing rational thought." Mo studied the data. They're trying to paralyze us with fear so we surrender without a fight. Ozzy, who had been unusually quiet, suddenly spoke up. What if we do the opposite? What do you mean? Mo asked. Instead of fighting fear with calm, what if we fight it with joy? Laughter? Ozzy suggested, a gleam in his eye. I mean, you offered them snacks. That made everyone pause because it was so unexpected. What if we broadcast something that makes people laugh instead of panic? Mo considered this. A psychological countermeasure based on humor. It's unorthodox, but it might work. The Zorak might not understand human humor, which would give us an advantage. I can program the global drone network to broadcast a counter-frequency, Ozzy said, already typing furiously on his console. We'll call it the Laughter Protocol. Within hours, Ozzy had created a live stream that combined carefully calibrated frequency patterns with his own brand of irreverent humor. As the stream went live across Earth's networks, something remarkable began to happen. Reports of anxiety and panic decreased, replaced by accounts of uncontrollable laughter. On the bridge of the Orion 1, Rex watched the reports with growing amazement. It's working. The Laughter Protocol is neutralizing the Zorak's psychological attack. Not neutralizing, Mo corrected, transforming. We're taking their weapon and turning it into something else entirely. The view screen suddenly flickered, and Ambassador Korath appeared again, its appendages writhing in what appeared to be agitation. What have you done? Korath demanded. Our harmonizing frequencies have been corrupted. Mo stepped forward. We've responded to your psychological attack with our own psychological defense. Turns out, humans respond better to laughter than fear. Korath's large eyes narrowed. This resistance is futile. We have other methods at our disposal. Before you try them, Mo said, you might want to know that some of your own crew seem to be affected by our broadcast. For the first time, uncertainty flickered across Korath's features. The transmission ended abruptly. Was that true? Rex asked. Are the Zorak being affected? I don't know, Mo admitted, but it seemed like a good bluff. To everyone's surprise, the bluff proved prescient. Within hours, the Orion 1 received a transmission on a secure channel from a Zorak crew member. My designation is Xylith, the Zorak said, its voice quieter and less resonant than Korath's. What you humans call laughter, it resonates with a suppressed aspect of our psychology. Some of us have begun experiencing emotional responses we were conditioned to suppress. You're defecting? Mo asked, incredulous. Providing information, Xylith corrected. Ambassador Korath represents a faction of our species that believes in absolute control through psychological dominance. Not all Zorak share this philosophy, and you're willing to help us because your laughter protocol awakened something in me that has been dormant for generations. Something the dominance faction fears. Xylith transmitted a complex data packet to the Orion 1. These are the psychological patterns of cephalopod cognition. They may help you refine your countermeasures. With Xylith's information, Mo and her team developed a more targeted approach to countering the Zorak's psychological warfare. Meanwhile, tensions aboard the Orion 1 began to shift in unexpected ways. Late one night, Mo found Rex in the observation lounge, staring out at the stars. He offered her a cigarette, a rare luxury in space, and she accepted, though she rarely smoked. Strange days, Rex said as he lit her cigarette. The strangest, Mo agreed, taking a tentative drag. You know, when I first met you, I thought you were just another academic who'd crumble under pressure. Rex admitted, offering snacks to an alien threat proved me wrong. Mo laughed softly. And I thought you were just another military hothead who'd shoot first and think later. Turns out we were both wrong. Rex reached into his pocket and pulled out a small package. Speaking of snacks, I had the replicator make these. They're calling it galactic popcorn. Mo accepted the package, their fingers brushing momentarily. Sounds appropriate. As they shared the popcorn and watched the earth turn below them, something shifted between them, a connection that neither had anticipated but both welcomed. The next day, during a strategy session, Ozzy made a crucial discovery while analyzing the data from their interactions with the Zorak. "I think I found a weakness," he announced, bringing up a holographic display. "Every time we've exposed Ambassador Korath to human cultural elements, especially food and humor, there's been a noticeable disruption in their psychological patterns." "A cultural blindness," Mo mused. "They've studied our biology, our technology, our military capabilities, but they don't understand our culture." "Exactly," Ozzy exclaimed. "And when Korath was exposed to that snippet of me eating spicy chips during one transmission, their brain patterns went haywire. Are you suggesting we defeat an advanced alien species with snacks?" Rex asked incredulously. Mo's eyes lit up. "That's exactly what we're going to do." Over the next several hours, the crew of the Orion 1 developed what they called the snack bomb, a multi-layered psychological offensive using Earth's drone network to deliver millions of small packages to the Zorak ship, each containing a different human snack food paired with specific frequency patterns designed to disrupt the Zorak's psychological control systems. Earth United was skeptical of the plan at first, but as the Zorak's psychological attacks intensified, affecting more and more of the population, they gave their approval. The alternative, surrender, was unthinkable. Snack bomb deployment in 3, 2, 1. Ozzy counted down, his fingers flying over the control panel. Across Earth, millions of drones lifted off simultaneously, each carrying a small package as they ascended toward the Zorak vessel hovering in low orbit. The sight was spectacular, a swarm of lights rising from the planet's surface like reverse rainfall. "The Zorak are responding," Park reported, monitoring the alien vessel's energy signatures. "They're attempting to intercept the drones with some kind of energy field." "As expected," Mo said. "Keep the frequency patterns shifting according to the algorithm we developed." On screen, they watched as the drone swarm encountered the Zorak's defensive field. Some drones were destroyed, but most managed to penetrate the barrier, attaching themselves to the hull of the massive alien ship. "Phase 1 complete," Ozzy announced. "Initiating Phase 2. The drones began broadcasting the carefully calculated frequency patterns while simultaneously releasing their payloads. Millions of snack packages that burst open against the ship's hull, releasing their contents into the Zorak's atmospheric filtration system. Inside the Zorak vessel, chaos erupted as unfamiliar scents and tastes permeated the air, accompanied by frequencies that disrupted their psychological control systems. Monitors aboard the Orion 1 showed the Zorak's psychological broadcast weakening. "It's working," Rex said, watching the readings. "Their control is slipping." Mo nodded. "Time for Phase 3. I need a direct communication link with Ambassador Korath." When the link was established, Korath appeared on screen, its composure visibly shaken. Multiple appendages moved agitatedly, and its usually harmonious voice had a discordant edge. What have you done?" Korath demanded. "We've introduced you to human culture," Mo replied calmly. "Specifically our snack foods. How do you like them? These substances are infiltrating our ship. They are causing disruptions in our collective harmony." "That's just the appetizer," Mo said. "I've personally developed something special for the main course." She held up a container labeled Laughing Chips, a snack food she and the ship's biochemists had created, specifically designed to stimulate dopamine production in cephalopod neurology. More of your primitive sustenance, Korath scoffed, though its voice wavered. Not just sustenance, an experience. Mo nodded to Ozzy, who activated a special frequency broadcast directed at the Zorak ship. I believe you'll find these particularly stimulating, as the new frequency pattern reached the Zorak vessel, combined with the biochemical compounds from the laughing chips that had been introduced to their atmosphere. Something unprecedented occurred. The control room of the Zorak ship erupted in sounds that humans had never heard before, the alien equivalent of laughter. On the view screen, even Korath began to lose control, its appendages trembling as unfamiliar sensations coursed through its system. "Stop this immediately," it demanded, but the effect was spreading throughout the ship. "We can't stop what's already begun," Mo said. "But we can offer you a way forward that doesn't involve surrender, yours or ours." Korath's disciplined facade finally cracked completely. It emitted a series of sounds that the translation system couldn't process. Essentially, it was babbling incoherently as the carefully constructed psychological control that had defined Zorak society for generations collapsed under the assault of human humor and snack foods. The transmission cut off abruptly, but the Orion 1 sensors continued to monitor the Zorak vessel. Its energy signatures were fluctuating wildly, and its once precise position in orbit began to drift. "They've lost centralized control," Park reported. "Their ship is essentially adrift." "Any signs of weapons charging?" Rex asked. "Negative. All offensive systems appear to be offline." Hours later, the Orion 1 received another transmission, not from Ambassador Korath, but from a group of Zorak crew members. Their appendages moved in new, more fluid patterns, and though they attempted to maintain composure, occasional tremors suggested suppressed laughter. We wish to negotiate," the lead Zorak said. "Ambassador Korath is indisposed. The control faction has been compromised." "We're open to negotiation," Rex replied. "What are your terms?" "We request more of your cultural artifacts, the ones you call snacks. They have produced effects in our neurological systems that were unexpected but not entirely unpleasant." Mo stepped forward. "And in exchange, we will withdraw our ultimatum, and perhaps establish cultural exchange protocols." As the Zorak ship retreated to a higher orbit, reports from across Earth confirmed that the psychological attacks had ceased completely. Celebrations erupted in cities worldwide as news spread that the alien threat had been neutralized, not through military might, but through humor and snack foods. Dr. Maya Mo Navarro became an instant global celebrity, hailed as the hero of humor who had saved humanity with her unconventional approach to alien diplomacy. Despite her newfound fame, she found herself increasingly drawn to the quiet moments aboard the Orion 1, particularly those spent in the company of Captain Rex Ambrose. One evening, as they sat in the ship's lounge watching Earth rotate below, Rex turned to her with uncharacteristic seriousness. "I've been thinking," he said, fidgeting with his drink. "Dangerous habit," Mo teased. "Maybe," he smiled. "But I've been thinking that when this assignment ends, we might consider continuing our snack-sharing sessions somewhere planet-side. Maybe that little bar in New Rio you mentioned." Mo felt a warmth spread through her chest that had nothing to do with the whiskey she was drinking. "Are you asking me on a date, Captain Ambrose?" "I believe I am. Dr. Navarro," he replied, his confident demeanor giving way to a boyish nervousness that she found endearing. "I accept," she said, raising her glass, "to unconventional partnerships." "To snacks and laughter," he added, clinking his glass against hers. Not all was resolved so easily. However, in the days following the Zorak retreat, reports emerged of isolated incidents aboard their ship, crew members who couldn't control their emotional responses, leading to chaotic behavior. The Zorak had lived under strict psychological control for so long that some individuals couldn't handle the sudden freedom. Earth United quickly organized a humanitarian mission, sending psychological specialists, led by Jin Park, whose quiet demeanor proved surprisingly effective with the distressed Zorak, to help the aliens cope with their new emotional reality. Ozzy, meanwhile, became a sensation among the younger Zorak, who were fascinated by his collection of snack foods and his ability to find humor in almost any situation. He established what he called the Interstellar Snack Exchange Program, introducing Zorak taste scientists to Earth cuisine while learning about nutritional compounds from their world. 3 months after the initial contact, representatives from Earth United and the restructured Zorak leadership gathered on the neutral ground of the International Lunar Base to sign a formal peace treaty. The document, titled The Snack Accord, established not only peace between the species but also cultural exchange protocols centered around food, art, and humor. As the Earth United Secretary General and the new Zorak representative, notably not Korath, who had been relieved of diplomatic duties and reassigned to cultural immersion studies, signed the treaty. Dr. Maya Navarro and Captain Rex Ambrose stood at the back of the room, watching history unfold. "Did you ever imagine," Rex whispered, "that we'd end up here when you offered snacks to an alien invasion force?" "Honestly, no," Mo admitted. "But I've always believed that understanding comes through shared experiences. And what's more universal than enjoying good food together?" Later, as they stood on the observation deck of the Orion 1, watching the lunar sunset cast long shadows across the cratered surface, Rex took Mo's hand in his. "What happens now?" he asked. "Now," she said, leaning her head against his shoulder. "We continue exploring the stars, ourselves, each other." She pulled a package from her pocket, galactic popcorn, and offered it to him. "And we keep sharing snacks." Rex laughed, taking a handful. "You know, there's an old saying, when you give a mouse a cookie, when you give an alien a snack," Mo continued, "you open the door to friendship among the stars." As they stood there, Earth rising majestically over the lunar horizon, the once threatening Zorak ship now peacefully in orbit, Mo reflected on how quickly everything had changed. From the brink of surrender to a new alliance, from colleagues to something more, all because of laughter, snacks, and the indomitable human spirit that refused to be intimidated. The universe, it seemed, had a sense of humor after all. In the months that followed, the relationship between humans and Zorak continued to evolve in unexpected ways. Cultural exchange centers were established in major cities on Earth, where humans could experience Zorak art forms, primarily based on complex frequency patterns that created both visual and emotional responses, while Zorak visitors immersed themselves in human culture. The most popular attraction at every Zorak cultural center was invariably the food court, where aliens lined up to sample everything from spicy Thai noodles to German chocolate cake to American barbecue. The Zorak discovered that their species possessed an extraordinary range of taste receptors that had been suppressed by the control faction for generations. Dr. Maya Navarro published a groundbreaking paper titled Gustatory Diplomacy: Food as the Universal Language, which became required reading at diplomatic academies worldwide. Her work established a new field of study: culinary psychology as a means of interspecies communication. Captain Rex Ambrose, after completing his tour of duty aboard the Orion 1, accepted a position as liaison between Earth United Defense Forces and the newly established Zorak Cultural Integration Office. The position conveniently kept him in the same city as Mo, whose research lab was located at the new Shanghai Institute for Interspecies Psychology. Their relationship blossomed from tentative beginnings into something solid and enduring. They moved into an apartment overlooking the bay, where they hosted regular dinner parties for a mixed group of human and Zorak friends. These gatherings became famous for their eclectic menus and the raucous laughter that could be heard echoing across the water. Ozzy's interstellar snack exchange program expanded into a full-fledged business venture. His company, Cosmic Munchies, became the first human Zorak joint corporate entity, developing snack foods that appealed to both species. His signature product, Harmony Crisps, contained compounds that stimulated the pleasure centers in both human and cephalopod brains, creating a shared experience that furthered understanding between the species. Lieutenant Jin Park, whose quiet compassion had proven invaluable during the psychological rehabilitation of the Zorak crew, eventually developed a specialized therapy program that helped Zorak individuals recover from generations of emotional suppression. The program, combining elements of human mindfulness practices with Zorak frequency-based meditation, became standard treatment for what was now diagnosed as post-control syndrome among the aliens. Ambassador Korath, once the intimidating face of Zorak dominance, underwent perhaps the most dramatic transformation. After months of cultural immersion therapy, much of it centered around experiencing different human foods and forms of entertainment, Korath emerged as a changed being. In a surprising development, the former ambassador requested permission to open a restaurant in New Shanghai, serving fusion cuisine that combined Zorak nutritional compounds with human culinary techniques. The control faction believed that domination was achieved through fear. Korath explained during the grand opening ceremony of Cosmic Flavors by Korath. But I have learned that true connection comes through shared joy. And few things bring more joy than a good meal shared with friends. The restaurant became an overnight sensation, with reservations booked months in advance. Critics raved about Korath's signature dish, Laughter Sushi, which combined traditional Japanese techniques with Zorak compounds that induced a pleasant, tingling sensation followed by a sense of euphoria. 1 year after the initial contact, Earth United organized a commemoration ceremony. The event, held in the same assembly hall where Korath had delivered the ultimatum, celebrated what was now called First Contact Day. Representatives from both species gathered to reflect on how close they had come to conflict and how far they had come since. Dr. Maya Navarro was invited to give the keynote address. As she stood at the podium, looking out at the mixed audience of humans and Zorak, she felt a sense of pride that transcended personal accomplishment. 1 year ago today, she began, we faced what appeared to be an insurmountable threat. An advanced species demanded our surrender, and in response, we offered snacks. Laughter rippled through the audience. What began as a moment of defiant humor has evolved into something profound. A reminder that even across the vast differences of biology, psychology, and culture, we can find common ground in shared experiences. She gestured to the Zorak representatives seated in the front row. Our friends from the stars have taught us much about the nature of consciousness, the power of frequency-based communication, and the dangers of suppressing emotional expression. In turn, we have introduced them to the joy of ice cream, the beauty of music, and the healing power of laughter. Together, we are writing a new chapter in the history of both our species, one based not on domination or surrender, but on mutual respect and understanding. And yes, she added with a smile, on really good snacks. The ceremony concluded with the unveiling of a monument in the plaza outside, a stylized sculpture showing a human hand and a Zorak appendage reaching toward each other, a small package passing between them. The plaque at the base read, Peace through understanding, understanding through sharing. After the ceremony, Mo found Rex waiting for her at the edge of the plaza, a package of galactic popcorn in his hand. "Inspiring speech," he said, offering her the package. "Though you left out the part about falling in love during an alien invasion. Some stories are better kept between us," she replied, taking a handful of popcorn. As they walked through the evening streets of New Shanghai, arms linked, Mo reflected on the unexpected journey that had brought them to this moment. The Zorak had arrived seeking surrender and found friendship instead. She had faced a threat to humanity and discovered a partner in the process. "You know what I've been thinking?" Rex said as they paused on a bridge overlooking the harbor, where the lights of the city danced on the water. "That's still a dangerous habit," Mo teased. "I've been thinking about the universe," he continued, undeterred. "About how vast it is and how many other species might be out there. Some probably friendly, others not so much. And I think we found a pretty good approach to galactic diplomacy." He pulled her closer. Laughter, snacks, and refusing to be intimidated by anyone who thinks they can push us around. "The Navarro-Ambrose Protocol for Interstellar Relations," Mo suggested with a laugh. "Exactly, though maybe we should add one more element to the protocol." Rex turned to face her, suddenly serious. "What's that?" "Love," he said simply. "Because that's what makes all of it worthwhile." As they sealed this addition to their diplomatic protocol with a kiss, a shooting star streaked across the sky above New Shanghai, a reminder of the infinite possibilities that awaited humanity among the stars. Now that they had discovered the universal power of shared laughter and good snacks. In the years that followed, humanity's relationship with the Zorak continued to evolve, serving as a model for contact with other species. The Navarro-Ambrose Protocol, as it came to be known in diplomatic circles, became the foundation for Earth's approach to interstellar relations. Lead with cultural exchange, focus on shared experiences, and always bring snacks. Dr. Maya Mo Navarro and Captain Rex Tex Ambrose eventually married in a ceremony that blended human traditions with Zorak customs. Their wedding feast featured dishes from both worlds, and the celebration lasted 3 days, a duration that satisfied the Zorak belief that important life transitions should be marked by extended periods of communal joy. As they danced under the stars on the final night of their wedding celebration, surrounded by friends of multiple species, Mo leaned her head against Rex's shoulder. "Did you ever imagine this is where we'd end up?" she asked. "Not in a million years," he admitted, "but I wouldn't change a thing. Not even the alien invasion?" "Especially not the alien invasion," he said with a grin. "After all, that's what brought us together." And as the music played and the stars shone overhead, they shared another package of galactic popcorn, a small tradition that had somehow saved the world and brought two hearts together across the vastness of space.